Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us across the great Louisiana Plain, where we are having so much fun advancing the cause of constitutional freedom in Louisiana, and slowly but surely, day by day, and on some days quite rapidly, draining the vast Louisiana swamp. My name is Chris.
And I'm Danielle, and this is the State of Freedom, brought to you by freedom-loving Louisiana First Patriots. Hello, State of Freedom warriors. Thank you so much for joining us today, for inviting us to be part of your day. We are so thankful for you. As I always say, and I mean it every time, you are the absolutely best listening family anyone could possibly hope for. And we are only here because of your encouragement, your prayers, your friendship, your financial support. If you're looking for a way to support us, to advertise with us, or to send us feedback, please visit our website at freedomstate.us. We'd also really appreciate it if you'd help us get the word out and spread the reach of the State of Freedom. Like the show on whatever platform you listen to us, subscribe to it, share it. You can share short clips from YouTube and Rumble instead of sharing the whole episode, and links to those are always in the show notes and over on freedomstate.us. We are so honored to be affiliate partners for General Michael Flynn's movie, Flynn, Deliver the Truth, Whatever the Cost. The DVD can be purchased from several popular retailers, and he's on tour screening and promoting the film. If you'd like to support General Flynn and the State of Freedom, visit freedomstate.us to get your copy of the DVD, to buy Flynn movie merchandise, or purchase tickets to a live screening. Our affiliate link is also in the show notes. Joining us today is my senator, Senator Mike Fesi from District 20. And before we bring him on, let me read the scripture of the day. It's Proverbs chapter 11, verses 26 and 27. And it says, "People will curse the businessman with no ethics, but the one with a social conscience receives praise from all. Living your life seeking what is good for others brings untold favor, but those who wish evil for others will find it coming back on them." And as I was reading this morning, I was struck by the phrase social conscience. I guess because terms like social justice are so overused and misused, and basically they tend to cause me to cringe. But it really made me think that people who love the Lord do obviously care about society and about the people around them, but they do it from a different mindset than the social justice crowd. They do it by extending their own hands to help. They do it in prayer and in service to others, not expecting that the government will or should fix things for those who are facing difficulties. Rather, they understand that our help comes from the Lord. And that next verse confirms that this kind of spirit and mentality brings incredible favor from the Lord, while those who live with hate, on the other hand, in their hearts, desiring bad things to come to others, they will experience that it comes back on them. The Lord sees the hearts of all. This is a great reminder. He sees the hearts of all, and the scriptures teach, and this one confirms it, that as a man reaps, so shall he sow. So be encouraged. And, I think, honestly, the heart of social justice probably comes from the right place and is just misplaced. But the truth is, if we want to help people, we need to be the help. We don't need to just direct government funds all the time to help people.
Right. And it's a great reminder, Danielle, that we don't judge the heart, we don't judge motives, but we certainly can judge actions. And the government clearly is not the proper entity to be doing so many things that it's trying to do in our society. But there are certain things that the government can and should be doing. And one of those things is securing our election system in Louisiana. And as you said, it's such a pleasure to have Senator Fesi on our show, who has a very, very good bill that will require proof of citizenship before anyone's allowed to register and to vote in Louisiana elections. I had the pleasure of testifying in favor of this bill last week, and here to talk a little bit about it today is Senator Fesi himself. Good morning, Big Mike. How are you, sir?
Doing all right. How y'all doing today?
Great.
Doing very well.
A little weary, but great.
Right, trudging right along, Mike, as you are. Mike, your bill is so timely in light of the situation in our country with millions of illegal immigrants coming into our country, pouring across the border. Obviously, I would be shocked if these illegal immigrants are not pushed to try and register to vote and affect our elections, your bill would require some proof of citizenship upon registering to vote. I had communicated with you about this and told you, as I think others did, that right now there really is not a requirement that anybody provide proof of citizenship when they try to register to vote. So thank you for talk to us a little bit about the bill and why this bill is so important, Mike.
Okay, my biggest thing is if you looked at a lot of the judges, even though stuff's in our Constitution, and that was one of the biggest combats that I had in committee, is saying it's unnecessary because it's in our Constitution. But a lot of these judges are now picking out that if it's not in law also, that maybe we're reading it wrong. And so I just wanted to reassure that we bring a law that says that everybody who wants to register to vote must prove that they're a citizen of the United States.
Right, and so very important. And, as I pointed out to Senator Fields, who's the chairman, Mike, the constitutional provisions are codified in our statutory law frequently, all the time. So the fact that it's in the Constitution does not mean that it shouldn't be codified in statutory law and an affirmative requirement placed upon people who are trying to register to vote to prove that they're a citizen. So it's a great bill.
And Chris, just one question real quick on this. Is it also require people to show proof of citizenship when they go to actually cast their vote?
I believe the law would say, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Mike, that they have to show proof of citizenship when they register to vote and when they go vote. Is that right, Mike?
Well, my bill particularly doesn't say when they go vote, just to when they register to vote. Okay. That way, if they're on the record as registered, then they just got to prove who they are, with a driver's license and whatever other ID that is available to make sure that they are who they are.
Fair enough.
Well, that makes it pretty easy on the Secretary of State's office then.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing is she wanted to put an amendment on it to make it not good till January of 25, which I had, I needed some help because I knew I was going to have a hard time just getting the bill out of committee. So I kind of agreed with her to put the amendment on. But if we can figure out how she can get the documentation reorganized and reprinted before the August election, it would be great.
Yeah, much needed.
Much needed. And Mike, to be honest with you, we don't have until January of 2025. This is something that is a top priority, should be a top priority. And with a competent Secretary of State, which I believe we have, there really isn't any reason why this mechanism cannot be in place for the fall elections. And so we're pushing very, very hard. We understand why you did what you felt like you had to do to get it out of committee, but it's not too late to get that amendment off of there. And we're reaching out to the Secretary of State. If they can come up with a mechanism to require proof of vaccinations for people to go into establishments during COVID, they can come up with a mechanism that's not unduly burdensome to require proof of citizenship to vote in Louisiana elections.
Yes, especially if it's not retroactive, right? If it's all new registrations starting now, and then every time the voter rolls are cleaned or every time you have to renew your registration, I think that's more than reasonable and more than achievable.
Yeah. And so, Mike, we agree with you. We're going to do everything that we can to get the amendment off of there. And so we end up with a good bill, not only substantively, but a start date on it that is effective on signature of the governor instead of in January of 2025. But thank you for bringing the bill, Mike. You did a great job presenting it, and we're very proud of you for that. How about SB 279, another bill of yours, which is going to hopefully do something to target, for lack of a better word, but document it and expose people who are here illegally but are driving on our Louisiana roads without liability coverage. Talk a little bit about your SB 279.
All right. Well, I brought this bill through last committee. They gave me a hard time on a few things the way it was written, so I have an amendment to straighten out what they were, kept going against me about. But basically, this bill is a number of illegals are getting in major accidents throughout the state. And also, one of my judges even called me after he heard about the bill and said that he has many illegals every week is eating up his time on court cases that they've been driving illegally and been fined. So what we need to do is strictly, if they're here illegally, maybe they need to be subdued and and brought in and stopped from driving. And one of the amendments I put on the bill was the vehicle that they're driving needs to be impounded to keep them off the road. But a lot of people are getting hurt, and the illegals are just getting away with it without paying anything and leaving whoever's in the incident, the victim, just left to figure out how they're going to maintain their life from that point on, being hurt from an illegal driving.
Incredible. Well, thank you for bringing bills that would not only keep the illegal immigrants off of our voter rolls, but keep them off of our roads as well. Would you, one amendment that someone suggested to me actually last week when we were at the We the People meeting that you were at last Thursday, was that perhaps the government should also impound their vehicle or commandeer their vehicle. And I was thinking, well, that sounds like a pretty great idea. And maybe we should give those vehicles to people in need who are citizens who are falling on hard times. So maybe that's something you could take a look into.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a matter of a number of people are getting in accidents. They're having to use their own insurance to get things corrected. The ones that are hurt seriously, have their own medical bills to pay. So it's just unfair that we as citizens have to follow the law and they don't.
Yeah. And Mike, not everybody has uninsured motorist coverage. Some people only have the liability coverage. So if they're in a wreck and it's not their fault and the at-fault driver has no insurance, well, the victim's left holding the bag. You're exactly right. And I also like the idea of impounding the vehicle. So you're saying that that's an amendment that have you already put that amendment on, or are you planning to offer?
Yeah, I had put it on in the committee, but since it didn't get out of committee, I have another amendment to make it more, explicative to explain exactly what we're trying to do here, because my first way it was written, it was a little vague on, they kept saying, well, they're going to pull them over they can't pull them over just because they think they're illegal. And so what I did is that my new amendment strictly says that they're in an accident or pulled over for some traffic violation, and then they have to prove that they're in the United States legally. And if they can't, then you call ICE, and it goes from there.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's good, Bill. We support it, Mike. SB 279, our organization LACAG is supporting it, and so that's another good bill that you're bringing. So we're very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, as Senator Fesi, I know you have to run off to committee, and Chris, you do as well. But thank you so much for joining us this morning for a few minutes to talk about your bills. We're so grateful to have you down there fighting for us.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'll continue doing the best I can on getting things in the right place for the citizens of Louisiana. It's amazing. One of the things that was said that I was bringing asinine legislation, but I said, what am I doing here if this is asinine, to try to protect the citizens of Louisiana, and that's all I'm trying to do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's only asinine, Mike, from the perspective of the asinine. Well, God bless you, Mike. I hope to see you today at some point, and thank you for all your good work. God bless you, sir.
Okay, thank y'all, and God bless y'all.
Talk soon.
Thanks for listening to The State of Freedom. To stay on top of all the calls to action we mentioned today, just check out the show notes for the episode. If you'd like to support the show financially, visit our website at freedomstate.us. If you'd prefer to give by mail, you can send a check to The State of Freedom, LLC, at P.O. Box 861, Berg, Louisiana 70343. If you own a business in Louisiana and are interested in supporting our show by advertising, please email us at info@freedomstate.us. To get involved with Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group, visit lacag.org, LACAG.org, or email Chris at chris@lacag.org. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe and share it. Give us a 5-star rating in the reviews. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time.